Hey, how's everyone doing? So I just wanted to create this video showing two new vinyl records I got, and basically the other day I just had a random inkling to go out and check out the record stores and see if I could find some cool stuff. I went to my local record store, which is my favorite record store, the one that's closest to me, and I checked out like all the stuff he has. Had some really interesting stuff. And one of the things that I was hoping to get was a particular record by Black Sabbath that I was pretty sure he had when I went there a month or two ago, but I wasn't sure if he still had it. So I went there to see if he had it, and sure enough, he did. So along with that, I got Leonard Skinner, Street Survivors. Now first, let's talk about the Black Sabbath album, Technical Ecstasy from 1976. This is probably my favorite Black Sabbath album that there is. Um, I say probably because I sometimes you say something now, but then when you actually like really do the in-depth analysis, you realize, oh, I actually kind of like another album better. But I'm pretty sure this is my favorite one. So this is an awesome album. This is kind of near the end of Ozzy Osbourne's tenure with Black Sabbath in the 70s. And Axl Rose is my all-time favorite singer. Guns N' Roses is my all-time favorite band, and he cites this as his favorite Black Sabbath album. The song "It's Alright," which is sung by Bill Ward, Axl covered it all the time on the Use Your Illusion tour, and I love that song. And I love that cover. I love both versions. I love the Black Sabbath version, and I love Axl's version. So I remember when I was growing up, and I would hear the "It's Alright" by Guns N' Roses and I would see it's by Black Sabbath, I would kind of scratch my head because I'm like, this doesn't really sound like a Black Sabbath song. But anyway, I love that song, and this album has some awesome songs on it. I really love Gypsy, that's a classic. All Moving Parts Stand Still, Dirty Women, another great one. And You Won't Change Me, fucking classic song. On to the next one, Street Survivors by Leonard Skinner. Now, I was flipping through his rare section, and when I saw this, I immediately knew I wanted to get it. And the reason for that is because growing up, Leonard Skinner was definitely my favorite band when it was my favorite first band ever. I love Sweet Home Alabama. Um, I love like their major hits, and I love some of their like lesser known songs too. But my dad always told me for years about the plane crash and about how they released Street Survivors 3 days before the plane crash. And the interesting thing is like the Street Survivors album cover, as you can see, it has flames all over it, burning buildings, and it shows the whole band like just surrounded in flames. So, 3 days later, the plane crash happened, and basically, one of the first things they did was they pulled the album from the shelf and released it with a more generic cover. It's just a black cover with the band members on it. Basically, because of insensitivity, it's just not a good look, and out of respect for the band and their family members and everything, it was just terrible timing. It was just not a good look at all. So when I saw that this was an original that was pulled from the shelf, basically, well, I wasn't fucking pulled from the shelf, obviously, but before they were pulled from the shelf, I knew I had to get it. And surprisingly, it was only $45. And I was thinking it'd be way more because I thought they were like way less made. But um, I wanted to make sure that he didn't have any more of these, and I actually found another one in the store that was $39, so I made sure to grab that one. And this has all the original inserts and everything. So this one's from 1977. Has some great songs on it. What's Your Name? That Smell, a couple of my favorites. You Got That Right is another huge one. This is pretty much the last true Leonard Skinner album, is what most people would say, even though technically they've gone on for so many more years with different members and different lineups and everything in between. But this is like the last classic album, and just so tragic, just beyond tragic. It's so sad. Another interesting thing about this whole story is when I was in 12th grade, my anatomy and physiology teacher, he told us all how he actually went to the last Leonard Skinner concert before the plane crash, which I always thought was pretty crazy and pretty interesting. Something that pissed me off was I went to another record store right after I bought these albums, and just by complete chance, they had a Street Survivors original up on display for sale for $25. So I technically could have gotten that one, but oh well, it is what it is. One last thing I'll say about Street Survivors is that they released the remastered like deluxe edition on CD and vinyl so many years later. Like it was only a few years ago, I believe, when they did it, and they actually restored the original album cover on it, and they didn't keep the alternate cover. So I made sure that this is definitely an original and not like just a used remaster or something. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. 2 new albums for the collection. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.